Time, the ever-flowing river. Come with us now to a time before man, where the river flows through a newborn world, and giants roam the earth. My friends and dear viewers, this is Jurassic Week Honest Reviews. I hope you guys liked that intro. I made it up myself on the spot just now. I might use it for the other videos, but yes, this is the second of the Jurassic Week Honest Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing the sequel, The Lost World Jurassic Park. Let's get into it. So after the success of the first movie, which made over $1 billion at that point, it was one of the first movies to actually gross $1 billion at the box office. Universal wanted a sequel, as anybody would. But thing is, it took a long time to create because there was no sequel to the book. So Michael Crichton wrote a sequel to the book, which also borrowed the title of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. Meanwhile, the franchise itself was going through a big moment with Jurassic Park The Ride opening up at Universal Studios Hollywood in 1996. Maybe I might make a history video on that because it's kind of hard not to. It's also important to note that the book is a lot different than the movie, but the movie just has the title, but I'm just pointing that out right now. Anyways, so, in 1995, the book, The Lost World Jurassic Park, was officially published. And then in 1997, 25 years ago, The Lost World Jurassic Park movie was finally released. And critics didn't appreciate it as they did the original Jurassic Park, as was expected. It is a sequel after all, and it's a sequel that's probably inferior to the original. Actually, no, it is inferior to the original. Not probably, it's definitely inferior to the original. But honestly, let's just talk about it, because I actually don't hate this movie. I actually have some pretty strong feelings toward it. So, 4 years after the events of the original Jurassic Park, Dr. Ian Malcolm, still played by Jeff Goldblum, is sent to another dinosaur island in order to save his girlfriend, Dr. Sarah Harding, played by Julianne Moore, from being attacked by dinosaurs. Alongside is his daughter Kelly, as well as a group of hunters set to create a Jurassic Park area in the United States. Okay. Yeah, I did kind of grimace at that plot because, recapping it was kind of weird. But surprisingly, it's a dumb, fun popcorn flick that I actually have a good time watching every single time. Seriously, I really like Lost World Jurassic Park. I find it one of the better entries in the franchise. Sorry, that was a yawn. As a matter of fact, it's the best sequel in the franchise up until Fallen Kingdom, at least in my opinion. I have a lot of strong opinions on the franchise as a whole, and believe me, I've watched the movies over and over again, so I think I know what I'm trying to talk about. But the story is, while sounding stupid, is executed in a really good way that makes it seem like a really fun popcorn flick. I see as how 1997 was the same year that Titanic was released. I think it's a no-brainer that there's a good, dumb, fun action movie that you have to pay attention to on the side. I mean, to be fair, it came out the same summer and same year as movies like Good Will Hunting, Steel, Liar Liar, and Batman and Robin did. But overall, yeah, it's one of the stronger movies, one of the stronger popcorn movies that I've ever watched. Now we have to talk about the characters because it's kind of inevitable. Now, thing is, I said Ian Malcolm yesterday was my favorite character in the original Jurassic Park. That is most definitely still the case for this film. I mean, he's not as charismatic or as sexy looking as he was in the first Jurassic Park, as now instead of having the awesome mullet and the sunglasses, he now has a shorter hair, pretty much like what I have, and a beard. He's still got the charismatic attitude. Like one of the jokes he makes during one of the great action scenes of the movie was it pretty much screams Ian Malcolm. It's also showcasing that he's not really. This kind of just starts his turn, which I'm hoping to see a lot more of, like his hatred for the artificial creatures that are created as dinosaurs, which is touched upon in JW Fallen Kingdom, and hopefully will be touched upon in Dominion. But we're going to have to see that on Friday. Dr. Sarah Harding, portrayed by Julianne Moore, is also really good. Fun fact, this was my introduction to Julianne Moore. Actually, that's not true. Actually, I watched The Hunger Games before I had watched this one, but this is my first introduction of her, like knowing that she existed. And she's a very well-known actress. She's been in a whole bunch of properties. I mean, you've seen her in movies like The Big Lebowski, as I said, The Hunger Games, and you've seen her in a I know I'm yawning a lot. It's late at night. Give me a break. You've seen her in a lot of stuff. You don't really want to talk about her that much, though. Actually, no, that's a lie. Julianne Moore is one of the greatest actresses of all time. I know I'm going to get hate for all of this, but it's my show. So, point being, she's a good character, and I really like what they did with her. And she's not stupid either. She's kind of like Ellie Sattler, but inferior, Then we've got Malcolm's daughter, Vanessa. Daughter Kelly. The actress's name is Vanessa. Actually, I don't know who plays her. Vanessa Lee Chester, who was 12 years old at the time. And Kelly's character is an interesting one. She's a daughter who misses her father because, he's gone all the time. I wish I could relate. I'm just kidding. He's gone all the time, so she wants to join him for his adventure. So, there you go. Also, she can be a little rebellious, as kids are. So again, realistic kid character. Well done, movie studios. Then we have Nick Van Owen, whose name just escaped me, so I had to pause my recording, go look it up, and figure out who the character's name was. I knew that he was played by Vince Vaughn. I just did not remember the character's name. He is pretty good. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. He's pretty good. He was very young at the time, too, Vince Vaughn. He doesn't have much of the story. He's like there. But he's good. I like him. I can say the same thing about Eddie Carr, too. I always found him to not really be able to do much. But he does do something, and his death is very memorable as well. I mean, you get torn apart by two T-Rexes playing tug-of-war. Just imagine that imagery for a second. Then we've got the villain, who is played by Arliss Howard. Peter Ludlow is John Hammond's nephew, who wants to continue on the legacy of Jurassic Park by building a location in San Diego, which I'm assuming, now thinking about it, would be on the same level of awesomeness as the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. But we're never going to find out because it only breaks ground. The T-Rex family rampages through San Diego, and then he gets mauled to death. I don't think John Hammond was too happy to hear that, though. No, I don't think he liked his nephew anyways. He's not the greatest villain in cinematic history, nor is he one of the greatest. He is a memorable popcorn villain. He's a memorable popcorn movie villain, and I really think they did a good job writing his character. Now, with all that being said, it is a popcorn movie, and I support a lot of characters in popcorn movies, but this one has some really awful side characters. I mean, I guess the only real one you can consider really good is Roland Tambo or whatever his name is. But that's only because he's played really well by Pete Postlethwaite, the late Pete Postlethwaite. And that's only because he has a good character arc. But there's not much else I can really say. I mean, I also kind of like that really with the guy with the long hair who kind of looks like Rob Zombie. It's not Rob Zombie, but he kind of looks like Rob Zombie if he was a paleontologist. I just hate a lot of the side characters in this movie. I mean, Ajay is literally white man in black makeup. Come on, guys. He's played by a white English guy, and he's in blackface. Not amused. I also don't like that guy Carter who has the headphones on. Just forgettable. I also really hate Dieter Stark. Yes, he's played by Peter Stormare. I really like Peter Stormare. Watch The Big Lebowski. Didn't do it for me. Now, the reason why I have a problem with these characters is that they are portrayed as the big evil villains who want to hunt down dinosaurs. I mean, we had the stealing dinosaur genetics and not kidnapping them for profits. And I'm actually really happy to see all of the characters be slaughtered in a grass field. So yeah, those three awful characters aside, the characters are pretty good. Let's talk about the visual style the movie adopts. First and foremost, the use of animatronic work is still prominent in this movie, as is the mixture of CGI. The Compsognathuses are the only real dinosaurs created through CGI, but the Tyrannosaurus Rexes, as well as the Velociraptors, are created through animatronic work, just like they were in the previous film, or a lot of them were. And I'm actually really happy they did this because 1997. What came out in the summer in 1997? I don't even think it was the summer. What came out in 1997? Titanic. What did Titanic have? One giant, amazing looking CGI boat. What did that give it? Best Picture, apparently. See, CGI is not the only form of visual art style that you can use. I don't even know why I cut myself off there. Visual effects are not the only way you can use art style. CGI is not the only way you can do that. You can do that with animatronic work, and you can do that with puppets. Star Wars did it. This film did it. Titanic didn't. My biggest problem with Titanic isn't even that. The characters are just kind of stupid. But I will review Titanic eventually, if you guys so want me to. As for the music, we have John Williams composing the score. He did a good job. It's not one of his best work, like the first movie, but he did a good job. Really like what he did. It's one of his most underrated scores. He did a lot of great scores. I mean, he did the score to a lot of underrated stuff. Like he did the score to Earthquake, and his score for Hook is so painfully underrated. It's not even funny. Speaking of which, Hook is actually one of Steven Spielberg's most underrated films. God, you guys got to see that. But I'm getting off track. As for the elements of horror, well, they're far and few between, just unlike the original. I mean, it contains one or two horror scenes. The scene in the tent is very much horror, but a lot of the other stuff really isn't. It's more of the action set pieces. But I will say the T-Rex attack on San Diego really did give me King Kong vibes, but it was a really fun action sequence, and there were a lot of decent moments of horror in there as well. Like, the kills are pretty awesome as well. My favorite kill in this movie, personally, has to go to the doctor with the long hair. He gets a snake on him. He runs back out. The T-Rex grabs him, him, and the waterfall that they're behind just turns red, symbolizing blood. That's cool. It was very creative, and I like the way they did it. Other deaths that I find cool, I mean, I like the scene in the grass where the people are getting eaten by the raptors. I also really like Eddie saving the group from the falling Jeep, which is still, those Jeeps are on display at Universal Studios Hollywood in the back lot. So if you're ever at Universal Studios Hollywood, go check out the back lot so you can see that amazing, amazing, amazing vehicle selection from the movies. That's pretty much it for the horror aspects, honestly. It takes more of an action approach. As I said, it is a popcorn film. It's not like the first movie where it had a lot of horror elements and a lot of action elements mixed in. It's mostly action, but whenever there are horror scenes, they are pretty well done. So, I actually really like The Lost World Jurassic Park. Aside from some awful bad characters, awfully bad. I don't know why I said awful bad, trust me, it's late. The movie is pretty freaking fun to watch. I mean, it's got good characters for the most part. It's got a really dumb but very inventive story for a popcorn movie. The effects are great. The music is really underrated. And of course, the action sequences are really fun. I'd say give it a watch at least once. I've watched it twice, but I still enjoy it. I have a soft spot for it, and it's one of the most underrated sequels I've ever seen. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, I know it seems weird that I like it this much, but yeah, I just think it's a good movie. Yeah. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same thing about the next film in the franchise, which I'm reviewing tomorrow. Oh, God. Please help us all. You know what's coming. But that's it for another honest review. I hope you guys liked it. Please do give it a thumbs up and comment your thoughts on The Lost World Jurassic Park. And please stay tuned as I am currently working on the final few episodes of the season. We've got 14 more episodes to go, 15 more episodes to go before the finale ends off the season, and then season 3 will start up in October, so just be prepared for that. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and also, while you're at it, please try to take the time and subscribe to Yapper CCS Studios, which is up officially. Thanks very much for watching. I'll catch all you guys very soon. Take care. Goodbye.